Hello, hello! You're back! Oh, I'm happy. This is our 5th episode together? Oh, I feel so happy you're here with me. As a treat, I've said I'll do the Muses, but I'm also going to do the helpful people as well. That was the lamest intro I probably could have done. But, anywho, let's start. So, let's start with the helpful people. We've got the Moirai, Thalassa, and Karen. No, not the lady with the bob cut who you see screaming, "I want the manager, this isn't my discount." We've all interacted with them. But no, not that Karen. A different one, spelt differently. We'll start with him, actually. He has, 3 siblings. The Moirai, and their parents are Nyx. Surprised? You really shouldn't be at this point. But Karen is the ferryman of the dead. So, let me put this in terms you all might understand. Let's say you die. Boo-hoo, you've had a funeral, blah-de-blah-de-blah. You essentially end up in the waiting room of the underworld. If your family was superstitious, like I want mine to be, when you die, if you put a drachma, or a gold coin, under your tongue when you die, when you end up in the waiting room of the dead, you can give your coin to Karen, and he will ferry you across from point A to point B, over the river Styx. There, you will get judged by Hades and the other, panelists, I suppose, and they will decide what kind of afterlife you'll lead. However, the river that Karen takes you across is the river Styx. It's too wide to jump over, so don't even think about it. There's little spirits out there. If you go into it, you will waste away like that. There'll be nothing left of you, nobody will remember you, and you will just be in eternal damnation and in pain in Tartarus. That's what you get for being greedy. We'll do the Moirai next. They are the Fates, basically. The Moirai is the Greek name. The Fates is the Roman name. I'm pretty sure you'll know them more by their Roman equivalent. But they are Clotho, Lachesis, and Atropos. They are the goddesses of destiny. Each sister of fate had her own part to do in a human's life. To put it in layman's terms, Clotho would make the line of life, Lachesis would distribute it, essentially, and Atropos would cut it. Clotho would spin the line of fate, if you will. That was making it a human, but not bringing it to life yet. Lachesis would bring the line to life, which would be equivalent to a human's life, so it would be a new baby, for example. And Atropos would snip it when, unfortunately, the time came. And then we've got Thalassa. She's the goddess of the sea. Do you remember me mentioning her a few episodes ago? Great. Thalassa had the Oceanides with Oceanus. Do you remember me mentioning that in my very first episode? Protagonoi. I'm offended. Nah, I'm joking. It was quite a while ago, and there is a lot of information to keep up with, so I'll let you off this once. But she was the goddess of the sea, and had the Oceanoids, which were little seal-looking things, which were basically the servants of the sea. Now, the Muses. If anyone has seen Hercules, the Disney film, you'll know exactly who the Muses are. They're the big ladies in the white gowns who do absolute belters at the beginning of the movie. Ah, now you know who I'm talking about. But Mnemosyne and Zeus had 9 children, in addition to his abundance. Those 9 were the Muses. Their names were Calliope, Clio, Thalia, Terpsichore, Urania, Melelpone, Polyhymnia, Euterpe, and Erato. A bit out there names, if you will, all except Calliope, Clio, and Thalia. But, I didn't name them, and I personally wouldn't name my kids. I wouldn't name my kids Urania, or whatever. But Zeus is gonna Zeus. Calliope was the muse of epic poetry, so any famous poem you can think of, I can guarantee you she had some hand in. Clio was history, Thalia was music, Terpsichore was comedy, Urania was astronomy, Melpomene was sacred poetry, Polyhymnia was dance, Euterpe was tragedy, and Erato was love poetry. All of the Muses, even though they're different people, they were all the goddess of entertainment of some kind of extension. Their individual talents are all on the same baseline, but so very different. So like 3 of them are all to do with poetry, but there's epic poetry, sacred poetry, and love. So like if some dude came up to me and started singing me an epic poetry song, I'd be like, no man, I want the love poetry. What are you doing? Give me the love. Reach out to Erato. She'll give me a love poetry. Unfortunately, this episode wasn't as long as the others, but it's still just as interesting. Personally, when I have kids in the future, I'm going to name one of my daughters Talia. I think it's such a pretty name, and I love music as well, which is rather fortunate considering she's the muse of music. Maybe I should name my second daughter Terpishkor because I like comedy as well. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't do that to my child. That's abusive. In my next episode, I'll be talking about bad guys. So stay tuned and keep aware.